Good evening, everybody. Afternoon, more like, to Lemoore City Council Chambers, 429 C Street. It's October 18th. Please silence all electronic devices as a courtesy to those in attendance. Thank you very much. Let me take my own advice. This is going to be our 5:30 p.m. study session. It's SS-1, West Hills College, Measure J. Mr. or Mrs. Preston, I'm sorry, Mr. Preston, I'm sorry. It doesn't say, it just says J. Preston.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to come talk about Measure J. I'm James Preston. I'm the president of West Hills College, Lemoore. We're really just kind of where we are at the college right now, just really excited to be back. Our enrollment, as you know, community colleges enrollment's been down throughout the pandemic. So we are on the bounce back and we're up about 9% this fall compared to last fall. And seeing a lot more activity on campus, a lot more action on campus. But I'm here today to talk about Measure J. I need to state up front, I can't tell anybody how to vote on Measure J. I'm just giving you pure information related to it. But it is on the ballot November 8th. And so what we're going out for as a college is for a two-story instructional building called the Visual Arts and Applied Sciences Building. So that's our proposed project. You can see the drawing there. 2 stories. I'll get into the programming a little bit in terms of what's going to go into that building. In terms of the funding itself, and so this is the good news about this project, it's 72% state funded. So it's about a $33 million project. And the bond itself is 8.9, and the remaining fund we already have as a college. So we secured it from the state, put our plans in. The project is actually shovel ready. And ready to go. But the way the community college system works, once you have a building approved and the funding has come, we have to provide our match, which is 8.9 million. If we're not able to do that, then it goes to the next community and college in line, right? So there's a lot of people lining up for state funding. We've secured a good portion of that. We need to come up with the remainder. In terms of what's in the building, in terms of the types of mix of programs, first of all, we're expanding the paramedic, nursing, and health science programs. And so really excited about our nursing program. If you're familiar with it, it's a strong reputation in the community. We admit about 32 nursing students a year, and we have about anywhere between 350 to 400 applications. So we admit less than 10% of our applicants just because of capacity. And that's a huge shortage throughout the entire state, as you know. So this will allow us to expand that program. We just recently had our board of registered nursing visit, our accreditation. And we not only got glowing reviews from the accreditors, but they're allowing us to expand. So this will allow us to expand our nursing program. Additionally, our paramedic program, then any other health career programs that are emerging. So currently we do CNA, which is certified nurse assistant. We're looking at a number of different programs too. It allows us to build new classrooms and science labs and increase career training. And in terms of, like I said, the top floor is health careers, the bottom floor is information technology. And so we're building programs around programming, networking, cybersecurity, so all types of computer science programs. And then we also have art labs built in on the bottom floor. In terms of critical facts, this is a GO bond. So again, 8.6 million requires 55% voter approval rating. Passing the bond provides access to over $21 million in the state funding, which is what I was talking about previously. Projected tax rate of about $9 per 100,000 assessed. And so what that means is, so for example, if someone's home was worth $300,000, right, that would be 9 times 3, it'd be about $27 a year, right, which would be a couple dollars a month in terms of what, in terms of property taxes, expected to be repaid within 15 years. Taxpayer protections, we'll have an independent citizens oversight committee who will review and report on all the bond expenditures, and a CPA must audit all bond expenditures. Measure J bond funds cannot be taken by the state and used elsewhere, and no funds go to administrators' salaries, pensions, or benefits. And again, just really expanding our nursing programs, providing 21st century labs, and then growing our instructional program. So really, we kind of framed it as J is for jobs, because a lot of this is really geared around career training, you know, whether it's short-term certificates in information technology, where our students will come and learn skills, our community members come and learn skills to do with programming, cybersecurity, networking. We'll be able to get them in and out within 6 to 9 months and then into the industry field. Our nursing program is a 2-year program. Where people come in and then they're out with their associate degree in nursing and able to start right away in industry. And we've had a 99% placement rate over. I mean, we can't get them out fast enough. Many of our nurses actually work on a bachelor's degree concurrently. We have a couple of different partnerships with online programs. And we are looking at pursuing potentially a bachelor's program down the road. It's something that some community colleges are doing now and others like ourselves are looking into in terms of applying for. So that's it. I just wanted to give some basic information so that you had that. Does anybody have any questions?
James. There we go. Thank you. With respect to the nursing program, will this building allow you to expand it?
Yes, yeah. So currently, Dr. Gornick, we've got 32 nurses we admit each year, nursing students. So times two, because we've got, a 2-year program. So we have about 64 currently that we have. This will allow us to expand, maybe at the most double, but probably more like 18 to 20 additional spots. But as I stated earlier, we have anywhere from 350 to 400 applications a year. And we're not alone in terms of the number of students that are trying to get access to become nurses. I was at a meeting recently at Fresno State, and they talked about they have, for their nursing program, they had over 200 applicants this year that had a 4.0. So not 200 applicants, but 200 applicants that had a 4.0. And again, they're talking about 100 spots because of their size, but a lot of individuals that want to go in. So this will allow us to expand. We've had some good conversations with Adventist Health about LVN to RN. So these are individuals that would not have to do a 2-year program because they're already a licensed vocational nurse, but they could come in with that 1 year and then just do 1 year to become a registered nurse. So that would be a shortened time to completion for them because they have that field experience.
Right.
And same thing with our paramedic program. We currently have 24 that come through in each cohort, and that will allow us to build on the size of that cohort also.
As far as the paramedic program goes, is it mostly cities and counties that employ those individuals?
Yeah, a lot of them are already working. So yeah, a lot of them working as EMTs.
For certification.
And then they get that, and they come in. It's a 1-year program with us, and then they sit for their exam, and then they're good to go. We just had a cohort that just graduated about a month ago.
So a lot of these students come and they basically are on some kind of a pathway to kind of move up in terms of.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep. Good. Other questions?
Yeah, one thing. Ms. Lerner?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. So just some general information regarding statements by officials about measures at public meetings, just as the council participates in this discussion. Individual officials may urge citizens at public meetings to generally get informed and to vote without making any reference to a specific candidate or measure. They may also provide impartial non-advocacy information to the public about a particular measure, which is what our presenter is doing. While individual officials are generally discouraged from making statements in support, just a very brief comment. It would be okay. However, officials should refrain from extended or repeated comments or statements in favor of or against a measure, as that would certainly be viewed as prohibited government-funded advocacy. Thank you.
All right, so with
So
that
that means
being
I
said-
can't say I'm for it or against it.
Correct.
Just want to make sure.
So with that, is there any other questions from council? No questions for council?
Where would you put it at
Oh,
geographically?
Geographically, yeah. So if you're familiar with our campus, it'll be just south of the administration building. And then they'll be between the administration building and the arena. And they'll be just west of our library. So we'll close out our campus right now. There's a large dirt area there that it will close out.
no more from council? How about public? Would any members of the public like to ask any questions about this? Yeah, come up to the mic. That way everyone can hear you, please. And state your name too.
Alex Walker, City of Lemoore. Would this also expand parking at West Hills? What would the parking situation look like as well?
Thank you, Alex. Alex is an alumni of ours, so I was really excited to see him tonight when I came in. No, it won't expand parking, but it's a great question, Alex, because we down by our arena, we have hundreds of parking spaces that do not get used on a daily basis. And so obviously all of our students want to park close to buildings, so they come park by our buildings, but we have a couple hundred down there. So this building will actually help utilize that parking lot a lot better.
So any other public? Marissa, is there any online or anything? No? Okay, well, oh,
Hello, Mayor and City Council, Jennifer Solis, Redwood Lane. My question, and I apologize, I hopped on a little bit late, so this may have already been answered, but I understand it's a bond for West Hills, and we have different bonds in our property taxes, and I don't have the property taxes in front of me. But are you able to help us understand what the differences are of either like our current property tax versus the new one, how it'll change? And I'm sorry if you already answered the question.
No, I didn't. Thank you for that. So, we have had a number of different bond measures that have gone, in previous years that are still on your taxes. So where we can, we're refinancing those. And I don't have the numbers in terms of when those come to fruition. And what I mean by that is they come off your taxes. I don't have those exact numbers, but this will be, this one is around $9 for $100,000 assessed value. And anticipating that it would be about a dozen years or so. So that's what it would be going forward. Or just one additional thing that it wasn't in the slides, but our voting district for this particular measure is Lemoore, Riverdale, Avenal, and Stratford areas and kind of surrounding communities. And a number of years ago in the West Hills Community College District, we would have bond measures that were across our entire district, which would include Coalinga, Firebaugh, et cetera. So this is very specific to our local area. I'm not sure if that answered your question.
well. So I have one quick question. So is this project measured?
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Marissa muted me. I was like, yes, it did. Sorry, I think it was a system, but yes, that answered my question. Thank you. Basically a $200,000 home, if they're assessed that value, will have an $18 a year fee to get all of these great benefits for West Hills, which puts it in perspective. Thank you.
Correct. Thank you so much.
And the one thing that I was gonna ask is this project measure dependent or
We don't necessarily have a plan B. So yeah, our hope is that we'll be able to get it passed. So we have, like I said, all of the architectural plans are complete. We'd have to find alternate funding. So at this point, yes.
yeah, well, I was just kind of going by that pie chart that you showed a little bit ago. and
Yeah.
It looked like this measure J was about a third, a quarter, somewhere in the middle there.
About a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a significant amount of state funding. And like I said, in terms of how the community college system works, you apply for your plans and they give you funding, but then you have to have your portion. And if you don't, then they just have a list that they work their way down.
Well, if measure J doesn't pass, maybe we could just build a little bit smaller of a building. No.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Preston. Thank you so much. for
Yeah,
coming
thank
down.
you. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, so that's going to take us into our regular meeting. And we're going to go ahead and this time we're going to have invocation by Mr. Olson. So after invocation is done, please stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for those in attendance and those watching online. Please be with us tonight as we go through the agenda and do the business of the city. Let's keep it respectful and give you all the glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Roll call.
Good evening, Councilmember Cheney,
Here.
Councilmember Gornick,
Here.
Councilmember Orth,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Matthews,
Present.
and Mayor Lyons.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here's when. So, let's see here. Agenda approval and additions or deletions. I think there's none.
There's none.
Okay. And that's going to take us into the public comment. Public comment will be in accordance with the attached policy. This time is reserved for members of the audience to address the city council on items of interest that are not on the agenda and are within subject matter jurisdiction of the council. It is recommended that speakers limit their comments to 3 minutes each, and it is requested that no comments be made during this period on items on the agenda. The council is prohibited by law from taking any action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda. Prior to addressing the council, any handouts for council will be provided to the city clerk for distribution to the council and appropriate staff. The public will have an opportunity to comment on items on the agenda once the item has been called and the mayor opens it to the public. So with that being said, public comment is open for business. Mr. Walker, go ahead and state your name, address.
Hello, Mayor and council members and good public of Lemoore. My name is Alex Walker. I reside on Mission Drive. And I'm here today to strongly advocate and promote the crab feed for the Lemoore Rotary Club. It will be held on November 5th this year, which is a Saturday. And at the previous meeting, I just talked about briefly about the crab feed. That's going to be really great food. And I encourage everyone to buy tickets. But what I want to do right now is really express what this money is going to do, because this is our biggest fundraiser to help the city of Lemoore and our greater community. So the money from this feed will allow us to purchase dictionaries and books for local schools and pediatrician offices. It's also going to help us build beds for Lemoore families so kids don't have to sleep on the floor. One truly remarkable story is that in 2021, we built over 50 beds, and then the week after, we were asked to build 4 more so a foster family can host 4 children, all siblings. And because we're able to build those 4 beds for them, they were able to be placed in the same house, which is truly important to keep the family together. In addition, it also allows us to purchase supplies for local service and beautification projects. We are very proud of our community and we love to serve where we can. So if you're interested in purchasing tickets, this will help us not only give back to the greater community, but also help us serve in our current project as well as purchasing supplies to install water purification systems in Central America. Rotary is an international, local, and national organization, so this money will reach far and help impact so many lives. In addition, it also contributes to our larger efforts, such as eliminating polio. It is actually Polio Awareness Month for Rotary, and we're currently raising money for that as well. And the money from your purchase of crab feed tickets will help us end polio, build beds, and beautify Lemoore. And there's just countless other projects and charitable fundraisers that Rotary participates in, but I highly encourage everyone in the general audience to participate. You'll see our posters big and proud around town, but for the online audience and for the record, if you are interested in buying tickets, there will be ticket sales at the door. But if you wanted your tickets now, if you text Lemoore Crab 2022 to 243-725, again, 243-725, you can purchase tickets online. There will be a silent auction and a live auction as well. This is a truly amazing event, great food, dessert, drinks, all the workings and fixings. So if you want to eat out and give back to the community, I highly encourage you to participate in this event. Thank you again for your time, council, and I hope the general public get that.
Hey, Mr. Walker, you got any tickets on you?
I do. I have 8 tickets on me, but if you guys wanted to buy them digitally, you can do that but I'll be staying after the council if anyone from the public is interested in purchasing tickets.
Right on. I'm not a digital kind of person. I'm old school, so I like to use cash and paper.
We will make accommodations perfectly.
Right on.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, hang out. I'll buy one off of you, or maybe a couple even.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry. Does anybody else have any questions? I was on a roll right there. No? Okay. Thank you, sir. Is any other public comment? None? Any online? None? Come on, Mr. Reed. No? All right. I guess public comment's done. Thank you, Mr. Walker, for our one and only public comment. That's going to take us to ceremonial presentations, and seeing then there's none. Department and city manager reports.
So good evening, Mayor and council members. First up tonight is Frank Rivera.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Just a few things to report on. As you might be aware, the concrete over at C Street parking was completed yesterday. Today, they just poured a few miscellaneous spots that were tied to the adjacent parking lot. So we're going to let the concrete cure. Of course, the longer we wait, the better, but we'll probably give it about 2 weeks. Within that time, we'll have the striping complete and the signage in place. So we plan on about 2 weeks opening the C Street parking lot. The canopies over at the sports complex, those were also finished on Friday. So this week, we're just gonna go through and just go through the plans, make sure all the nuts and bolts per plan are installed. And then Lemoore is pretty well done with all their wet utilities, except for the storm drain line that they're tying into Bush Street. They are doing some dewatering, so you do see some water out there today. And they're also putting out the dry utilities, which are the street lights, telephone, high voltage. Those are being put in now. So I would say probably the next 3 to 4 weeks, they'll probably start to work on the road portion of it. So that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, yes, sir.
Are they bringing broadband into that?
Usually they'll do that. They'll at least bring in the conduits
Conduit.
for it, yes.
Okay.
But normally, yeah, the developer will provide at least the conduits, yes.
The downtown parking lot, really looks nice, really
Oh.
kind of made that whole area.
Thank you. We got a lot of
Yeah.
compliments from the surrounding business owners, so yes.
What do we have planned for the rest of the parking in the around downtown area? There's a few vacant areas that.
That's for another study session.
Right. Is that it?
Yeah, I got a question for you. So
Yes, sir.
that parking lot, and it looks really good, by the way.
Mhm.
And I learned something new that I guess in today's market, cement and asphalt are about the same price, huh?
Right now, yes, they're pretty close,
Which
yeah.
when I saw them putting cement in, I thought to myself, someone made a mistake, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, that and so there is 2 approaches over there, right? And so are we gonna, because it used to be both of them were ins and like there was
Yeah.
nowhere to get out of that parking lot.
Yeah, so right now there's an in and an out. So I think you'll enter on the easterly one and come out on the westerly.
Right on.
Yeah. And we're not doing the driveways, but yeah, concrete, it's easier to comply with the ADA, for flatness, plus it's less maintenance. So, yeah, if you can
That's,
afford it, it's the way to go. Yes.
that sounds like a very surgical word right there, flatness, huh?
Yeah, the flatter the better, yeah.
Thanks, Frank.
You're
Is it gonna be metered?
welcome.
No.
No money?
It's another discussion,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
That's for another study session.
You must be reading that.
All right, next up is Chief Kendall.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Last warning, I guess, as far as National Night Out next Tuesday, Heritage Park, 4 to 6. I hope to see you all there. I think if you've noticed, some of our neighboring jurisdictions have followed our suit in changing their National Night Out to October. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a big turnout. Lastly, as you know, next week is Red Ribbon Week. Mrs. Susan Stone and the Jamison High School has been working in partnership with the Lemoore Police Department in creating the Red Ribbon Week T-shirts since 1995. I've been aware that Mrs. Stone is retiring or has retired and is assisting Mr. Chris Scaldi, who has now taken over the class. I just want to thank Jamison Enterprise for creating this year's T-shirts, and formally recognize Mrs. Stone for all her hard work over the years. So thank you.
We had to coordinate a few things. So no, of course, we had a little break for a couple years. So it's been since 2019 that we actually did the red ribbon shirts. And yes, I did retire at the end of the 2021 school year, but it's my pleasure to continue to have the support. Mr. Solly has been very instrumental over the years. We always try to pair his prep up with my screen printing class. So he had some basic knowledge, but he has learned a lot in the past 12 weeks. So it's been a pleasure. And one of the nicest things about it is I get to go in as an approved volunteer for the district. And we also want to recognize our principal, Mrs. Valerie Botello. And so I've been able to get to know such one and they've been putting in such hard work. I was going to check, but this was one of our bigger orders that we've had in several years. So we of course brought on Freedom as a new school. Now, y'all know that there's a few supply chain issues. So you do have shirts coming tomorrow.
They should be at the city.
Oh, let's go. Me too.
So we're running a little bit behind. We didn't get some shirts in. But we did 372 shirts for the elementary schools. And Miss Stone has the shirt. And we, Jameson designed it. Like I said, I brought 3 students here, which is Giselle and Angel and Tierney, and they've been instrumental. They've been helping out tremendously in the class, and just wanted them to be able to come up here and kind of be acknowledged, because they've been super efficient and super helpful in class. And thank you.
Yeah. Thank the police department for working with us here, because even though we had screen printing going a little bit last year, this is our first year of just really going for it. And so PD was just exceptional in working with us, knowing that we were kind of digging from the past and bringing up a couple of old designs to rework it. They were student designs, and this was a student design that we were able to then get approved for this celebration week. And so we thank you. The students will now be learning all the software needed to design and carry on. And so we look forward to just continuing our relationship, and thank you for all the support over the years. And it's just been my pleasure. It really, really has. So.
Right on. You want a picture?
I was saying.
No, you don't, I don't have to be in it. Wherever you guys want to do it. With Chief? All right.
Like crazy now. And you know what I just thought of the hotel? Maybe people can sell them. All right, not to take those. 1, 2, 3. And thank you. Oh, one more. And a
No,
retired
one more.
teacher.
Marissa has to take a picture.
I was like, we need one.
Chris, don't move. Marissa has to take a picture too.
We could, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she's instrumental in everything.
Spring over. Let's go.
Like the elected center.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now I'll have a little treat. I was hoping to be a city planner
Thank you.
before.
Thank you.
Oh, nice. A little bit.
Okay, thanks, Chief. With that, then a couple things from my side of the business. The 22nd of this month, we have the Boo Bash, which will be taking place at the Veterans Building out front. That is actually put on by one of our residents, is kind of putting that and coordinating that effort. And in conjunction with the Boo Bash, we'll be doing trick or treating at downtown local businesses. So kids have a safe place to go downtown. That'll be going on the 22nd. Flag football is ongoing every Saturday over at Lions Park. Good time if you like to see some of the little kids play, and it's a little organized chaos, but it's, if you don't have a good time, you just can't have a good time if you don't.
It's your fault.
Yeah, it's totally your fault. The Veterans Day Parade and Run is just around the corner, so there's still room to sign up if somebody'd like to participate in the run walk or get a parade in there. And then that's it for on the rec side right now, and the stuff coming up in the near future. But we've also received the site plan for the 108 unit affordable housing project on Smith and D. So that's in process. We've also from Daniel Salas Harvesting, which some of you may know, our ex-chief of police, Daryl Smith, works over there. So we're working with Daryl on a project right now, but they're building a 12,000 square foot office / warehouse to relocate their business. Just over there, on the corner of 198 and 19th Avenue by the Motel 6. Up along 19th, they'll be there, and they're also building 2 6,000 square foot warehouses that will be leasable. So again, expanding our footprint there in the South Industrial Park, so that's good. And then lastly, want to give a shout out to our Lemoore Tigers. The varsity football team is 3-0 in league play and in sole possession of first place. So if you get a chance to go cheer your Tigers on Friday night, I highly encourage. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. That takes us into our consent calendar. Items considered routine in nature are placed on the consent calendar. They will be considered and voted upon in one vote as one item unless a council member or a member of the public requests individual consideration. They are 3-1, approval of the minutes of regular meeting, October 4th, 2022. 3-2, approval of the budget amendment, CIP 5508, Enterprise Drive Drainage. 3-3, approval of the budget amendment, CIP 5015, the Vine Street Pedestrian Path. 3-4, approval of the budget amendment, creation of the CIP 5035 for local road and safety plan. Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay, so with that being said, would anyone on council like to pull items 3-1 through 3-4? Nope, seeing none. Okay, open it to the public. Would any member of the public like to pull anything off of consent? Nothing online? Okay, back to council. So council, I'm looking for a motion to accept the consent calendar as read.
Motion.
Mr. Cheney,
Second.
Mr. Gornick. Mr. Cheney, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Gornick,
Aye.
Mr. Orth,
Aye.
Mrs. Matthews?
Yes.
I vote aye as well. Ayes have it. Consent calendar passes. Now we're into our public hearing. 4-1, public hearing. Introduction and first reading ordinance 2022-07. Amending chapter 6 of title 6 of the Lemoore Municipal Code relating to skateboard, scooters, and roller skates.
All right, so we're bringing this ordinance change forth. This is kind of the motorized scooters. You're seeing more and more of them running around town. So this kind of gets the city in compliance with the new toys that are out on the market. And staff intends on bringing a contract together for a motorized scooter company, Bird Scooters, to get people more access to downtown from like the charging stations. And so I typically don't read verbatim, but being this is an ordinance, I will. So Municipal Code Chapter 6 of Title 6 currently reads, this chapter applies to the use, operation, and propulsion of skateboards, scooters, inline skates, and common roller skates on all highways, roadways, streets, alleys, sidewalks, and right-of-ways within the city. In reviewing the current ordinance, staff is recommending changes to include the differentiation between the application of the chapter to manual scooters and motorized scooters, and clarifying which subsections under section 6-6-3 use and operation do not apply to motorized scooters. This change will affect, and these amendments will allow motorized scooters to be operated on city streets and will better align the city's regulation of motorized scooters with the vehicle code. So staff is asking that recommends that city council introduce and hold the public hearing, which we are, of ordinance 2022-07, waive the first reading in its entirety and set its second hearing for the next regular council meeting.
Okay, so does that mean people who've been riding scooters have been doing it illegally?
No, yes.
I wouldn't say illegally. We don't really have a way to enforce anything without an ordinance in place. I think I'm saying that properly, Chief. Feel free to.
So.
Yeah, Stuart, you're breaking the law.
Yeah, that's where I wasn't gonna bring myself into it, but thanks, Mr. City Manager.
It's okay, we were.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was trying to open the door for you, so I didn't feel like you guys were
Beating
taking
up
a
on
shot
you.
at me, yeah. Is there does council have any comment as of this far?
Yeah, I have a couple of comments and I read the ordinance and I guess what surprised me is what you just said, city manager, that this was so that we could bring in a mobile facility for charging and allowing people to ride these bicycles.
Yes.
I just don't think that's a real good motivation to do this. You know, we were all down in Long Beach and we saw where most of those bicycles were, half of them were over on the side. And as far as in the evenings, there's a lot of motorized skateboards around. I don't know what the chief thinks, but I think they're pretty dangerous. And this is just going to encourage more of that. And so I don't know. I guess I never saw the need for it, other than it's a nice little fantasy thing to do, but
I think it might promote, movement downtown. I don't know.
You mean, and people going up and down?
Well,
or-
yeah, just people getting out and about and maybe visiting downtown merchants, something to that effect. I don't know.
So we have one of the only fast chargers in the community. Actually, we have the only fast charger. The next closest one is either Visalia or Fresno. So I do from time to time stop and ask the people as they're sitting in their cars charging out there at the CMC, like, if we had a way for you to get around, like, would you be more willing to go eat and things like that? And overwhelmingly people said, yeah, they thought it'd be a good idea. So kind of the plan would be to have some of these scooters stationed there with a little kiosk that points out our downtown restaurants and other things they can do. And down in Long Beach, I did go for a ride on those scooters with a couple of my council members, and I think it was like $12 for 47 minutes worth of riding. And there's rules you have to abide by, and there's certain things you have to do to, not just anybody can pick it up and check it out. But we're working on the geofencing and things like that, but the intent is to bring a plan back to council for approval for a contract. So hopefully we'll have a good presentation. I'll be able to answer all your concerns, Mr. Warren.
Well, one of the things I just saw my daughter shared with me a week ago on TikTok, there was one of the similar bicycles that are in Long Beach, the light blue ones it was found in Mexico City. So, they're all over the place. I mean, this was from Chicago. They found it in Mexico City. So, I mean, we're creating another issue, I think, for, I know if I was 16, I might like to take one for a joyride,
They are fun.
Well,
Yeah.
They were fun. I was one of the council members. that rode it.
Oh, I figured.
I was really trying to refrain from saying.
They're not.
To be the fun sucker. Come on.
And just if somebody's never used them, in order to unlock them and make them rideable, you have to have, for one, be 16 or 18.
We have to have a credit.
You have to
card.
have a credit card or debit card, and it starts charging you. And when you park it, it doesn't stop charging your card until you take a picture of the location where you dropped it, and they're geofenced. You can't leave them just anywhere. If you drop it off in an area that's not part of the geofencing, your card continues to get charged. So that's kind of how you keep them in track. And then the company, they actually hire somebody local that goes around and maintains the scooters, picks them up if they need maintenance. If some are gone, they have them tracked, they go pick them up and move them around. So it's hands-free for the city. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself because we're here tonight to discuss tonight is just the ordinance portion of it to get our vehicle code in line, so we can enforce motorized scooters, I guess.
So with that being said, does council have anything else?
Yeah, I got one. So
Oh.
this is, Chief, what do you think? Is this going to cause more issues for you?
Really, like the city manager kind of pointed out, it's aligning our ordinance with the vehicle code. The ordinance was written when I looked at, I think, somewhere, don't quote me on it, it's more in the 80s and 90s, when these motorized vehicles, motorized scooters weren't invented. yet. Right. It's not going to change the way that we're always going to, for the most part, revert back to the vehicle code. We still hold those that have them, that own them personally, and we're going to police them just like we would any other vehicle on the roadway.
So the kids who are on these, they're not kids, they're
Young adults.
young adults with the one wheelers, just the one wheel now that goes through.
Mhm.
It's got the lights on the front and the back,
Mhm.
and they're
And it's,
Flying down Silverado, doing
And
about
it's
30
gonna-
miles an hour.
it's gonna take an officer quite some time to decipher what section that's gonna fall under. That depending on that maker model, whether it's got two wheels or one wheels, if it has handlebars or non-handlebars, if it's an electronically controlled or if it's a gas powered engine. We're always going to have to revert to the vehicle code because it's a lot more specific than our ordinance. Ordinance cleared up some language as far as where you can ride in downtown. You know, the original ordinance was that you couldn't ride any skateboards, any of these scooters, and that's really the closest thing that it had to equate to, and it just really didn't help us, from a law enforcement perspective.
Right.
It wasn't clear. We couldn't hold anybody accountable to the ordinance. I think now with this revision, it does. It's not really gonna hurt us. Honestly, it's gonna probably help us.
Thank you.
Anyone else, council? None? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open it to public at this time. Public hearing is now open. Would any members of the public? Yes, sir.
Alex Walker, Mission Drive. So quick question, like I think it's an interesting idea. I think it might be cool, honestly, because like I've seen those in Sacramento and other places around the state. But I was curious just to understand it a little bit better. So if we, and I might be jumping ahead, so I apologize. Like if we were to have like the electric scooters and like the company and stuff like that, like clarifying with the ordinance, are they driving in the bike lane, like on the street? Like where are they driving? And also if we were to have these downtown, are we going to improve current bike lanes in the city? So people can not only comply with the ordinance, but drive them safely?
So they would have to follow the same traffic patterns as those on a bicycle.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And then are we gonna look into maybe upgrading our current bike lanes, our existing bike lanes downtown and throughout Lemoore so people can more effectively travel?
Not specifically for this purpose, but yes, anytime we redo overlays or do street projects, Public Works always look at the bike lane perspective, and then depending on the right of way and the width of the roads dictates if we can have a dedicated bike lane or not, because you have to, there's parameters.
Yeah.
And then I do know that Public Works is looking at the whole downtown as a whole to look at drainage issues and trying to get additional parking and things of that nature. So that'll be taken into account.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Nathan, did you say that they have to abide by the same rules of the bike route?
As bicycles, yes, you're not supposed to ride these motorized scooters on the sidewalk. You need to be in.
No, but if they're in the street, these
In the street.
motorized,
Yes,
you want them in the streets.
yes. Matter of fact, the company that you rent from, that's one of the
That's one of the-
conditions that on the disclaimers, you can't ride them on sidewalks.
Okay, is there any other? We're gonna have to wait a minute.
That's the first time they're
I know.
council.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
Scoot over.
You got it, Mayor Pro Tem Matthews.
Grab your scooter.
It's not that loud.
So while we're waiting for those of you that don't know, that isn't an air raid siren. That is actually structure fire to call our volunteers to post. So that means they're responding to a structure fire somewhere in the city limits right now.
One more round. Sorry. All yours.
Is there any other public comment? Seeing none? Oh.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We have one more.
Jennifer Solis again, 757 Redwood Lane. I just wanted to echo the comments that I am very excited about this new opportunity. I know there will be things that will need to be worked out, but I mean, it just sounds fun and we have a cute little downtown. And so I'm excited. Thanks.
Thank you. With that, we'll close the public hearing. I'll bring it back to council for a motion.
Motion to approve the introduction and waiver of first reading of the ordinance 2022-07, amending our municipality rules.
Do we have to read the whole thing?
Do I have to read the whole thing?
No. Okay. All right. Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Orth,
Yes.
Mr. Cheney,
Aye.
Mr. Gornick.
No,
I vote aye. Motion passes. Moving on to new business. There's no new business. Brief city council reports and requests. Mr. Cheney, Mr. Gornick.
yeah, just one of the things I wanted to mention to Frank, the shade areas on the soccer field look really good. Added a lot to the complex. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Orth.
Yes, I'd like to, I had the opportunity of attending the salute for the ag this last weekend. It was really very well attended. It was very nice to see Tony get his award and Gar Bennett. They're both pillars of our community and well deserved of this award. I'd also like to take the time to invite all the downtown business owners. We sent out emails for a roundtable that Pro Tem Matthews and myself are hosting along with the city, helping us for a meeting. It's December 13th. I do believe it's 5:30, right?
Yes.
5:30. The location is still to be announced. We hope to get as many downtown businesses involved so we can hear concerns and move forward in doing the business. I'd like to thank all the city staff for the invitation. Looks very nice. Whoever, Marissa, I think you did it. You did a great job. Looks good. All the hard work for everyone gathering the emails that it required to do it. Thank you very much. It's a lot of work, and then thanking the staff in advance for all the hard work they're going to do to set up for it and take it down. All the hard work for all the staff and the city employees. You guys work very hard for all of us to be able to have clean, sweet streets, flush our toilets, and drink our water. It's something that a lot of us take for granted, but takes a lot of work. The fire department for going out, hopefully that's not a true call because that's pretty hard. The fire department, the police department for all the hard work that they do. And thank you for the shirts for the red ribbon. That was kind of cool. Good to see that the kids get to learn a craft that, I thought was taken away. But anyways, thank you very much. You're longer.
I just want to mention that the Parks and Rec Commission has 3 vacancies. If you're interested in being a part of that commission to submit your application online. I believe it's open until the end of December. I also want to congratulate Ramble and Rose on their retirement after 33 years. Much deserved and well-earned retirement, so good luck to them. Also, the Fleet Reserve has a poker run October 22nd. If anybody's interested in that, that includes breakfast and lunch. You can contact them for more information on that. KCAO has a water assistance program. If anybody's in need of that, you can contact KCAO and find out eligibility and what you need to do to get that going. And I also want to thank PD and our volunteer fire department and all city staff for everything that they do day in and day out. Thank you, guys. And with that, we will go into closed session.
So you have to read the description for the government code.
Government Code Section 54946.8, conference with real property negotiators, property 119 Fox Street, APNs 020-083-008, agency negotiator, Nathan Olson, city manager, under negotiation, price and terms. Yeah, we go into closed
Jump in,
session.
Hazel.
Do I have to do it? I don't have to do it.
Yeah. Going to closed session.
Yep.
You have to close the meeting.
No, we'll go into closed session, come back out. I'll do the closed session report and then you can.
You get signed in.
Then, yes.
Okay, so thank you for those that stuck around. Sorry I had to get up and run out of the door like that. But when duty calls, you go. I guess I'm gonna start by saying, Ms. Lerner, do we have anything to report out from closed session?
Nothing to report, Mayor and Council.
Okay, and with that being said, I missed my brief council remarks and reports. And I have a request from council that I wanted to kind of do. I know that it has been, no, it'll be brief. It says it in the title. This was just kind of my idea, and you guys can either yay it or nay it. I would like to give Parks and Rec a little bit more help by another body. And I want that body to be, I have learned about this PIO thing, this public information officer. This could be somebody that kind of fills multiple roles by way of helping with our downtown merchants or all merchants in town by going to their businesses and putting it on Facebook, social media, this and that and the other, doing small stories about them, and also helping Parks and Rec with the added things that we've asked of them thus far. I know that city manager has said he's not going to come back to us and ask us for any more positions, but this is not him asking, this is me asking. And this is just, like I said, an idea, a thought. And I'm not saying how much we would pay this position, but I see this being an important thing for our DMA type of thing.
Did you ask Mary you could do this?
To what?
Did you ask Mary if you could do this?
Nope.
I can see it on the face.
That's why
I
he's
can
not
see
turning
it.
his head that way.
I'm just looking for,
He's not even looking this way.
He knows better, that's why.
He hasn't blinked either.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Could we have a study session on marketing in the future? Because what you're talking about is something I've been haggling with the city manager on for a long time. We have a lot of good things to say in this town, and all we think about is Facebook and TikTok or whatever.
and I understand. And that's why I was wanting this person to,
But
I'm not sure-
it's covering the whole city.
yes,
We're not
I'm saying the
all
whole
big or
city.
big, But I think we need, maybe bring somebody in marketing I'll be happy to look for somebody to come in and talk to us about how to market a city and then give us some idea about what to do
We-
or. I mean, my point is, I'm opposed to just going out and doing something without us thinking about it entirely in terms of how it helps us.
So the only reason why I'm putting a little bit of urgency on this, is because, things are fast approaching and I just kind of wanted to give help. I understand where you're coming from. I really do.
Hire somebody part-time to help just with a little.
So, yeah, and if I could help, the position would have to come back to council for approval, for formal approval, so that the public could also weigh in on this matter. But you can always do a special meeting for that as well. So
Okay, so,
I'll turn it over. to
so
you,
then how
Mayor.
do we move forward with this combined idea?
Is it a combined idea? or-
Well, yeah, I'm combining with,
I'm just thinking it's, we talked about a strategic plan. We were gonna review some of those things. We haven't done anything with it yet.
So
Okay,
we have the
there's
draft,
a-
we have the draft of the strategic plan to
Yeah,
bring back,
but
and we
not-
also have 3 options for marketing that's coming back to you guys for discussion.
Okay.
Mayor, how about we do this?
There's
That's a
not
good idea.
How about-
here at the minute.
That's a
how about-
good idea.
My recommendation, Mayor, is how about we do this? How about we ask very nicely the city manager to create a couple things for the next meeting? One, what something like that possibly could look like.
or if it could even fit in our
Or
budget.
Can even fit in our budget. Two, give us a plan or talk to us a little bit about the marketing aspect of what we've already hired in marketing,
Along with what Frank was
along
saying.
with what's going side. And then also three, it's probably gonna be a long meeting. It's a strategic goal thing. Let's get that all in so we can all sit down, study session, people here, everyone's happy. And then we can sit down and figure out how much this, because I like the idea.
Yeah.
And I do believe we need a public information officer. And that can help us do this. But to his point is it a marketing guy that we already employ? Is it, excuse me, or is it somebody we hire, whatever?
Yeah, and I just didn't know if that position would be a full-time position or if
know
it could be
either.
like a half Parks and Rec kind of person. Because it feels like they're gonna kind of coincide with the marketing and with, you know, our downtown events and all that kind of stuff.
Would you agree that,
There's two different things here. We're talking about marketing and public information.
would you agree that what I said, we probably should put that back into Nathan?
So
Have him-
So it is sounding like you have consensus with this
To bring it back.
brief discussion to bring it back so that the public can also
You
participate.
good?
yes,
Is that good?
yeah, okay. I guess I got what I wanted.
Three.
So Nathan, you understand? Okay, with that, we're adjourned. Thank you for coming.